Good evening and welcome to the Mayor and City Council meeting for the month of February 2022, the City of Taneytown. We'll begin with our pledge to the flag. I'll ask Councilman Foster to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And thank you, Councilwoman. Let the records reflect that all council members are present and accounted for this evening. We'll begin tonight's meeting with our approval of the minutes. These are the minutes of the January 5th and January 10th regular meetings, and I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve both sets of minutes.
And a second. Very good. Any discussion? Amendments, changes, questions? Anything unclear? All right. Hearing none on the motion to approve the January 5th and January 10th minutes made by Mayor Pro Tem Vigliotti, seconded by Councilman Foster. All in favor of approving signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed may say nay. Very good. I'll now ask members of the council if they are conflicted on anything on the agenda this evening.
No, sir.
Very good. Up for introduction this evening, we have Ordinance 01-2022. This is the FY 21 to 2022 Budget Amendment Number 2. And I'll entertain a motion to introduce.
So moved.
And may I have a second, please?
Second?
Any discussion on the budget amendment as it's presented to you for introduction? All right. Hearing none, I believe the plan is that this will come for approval next month. Is that correct, Mr. Wieprecht?
Yes, sir.
Very good. With that, all in favor of introducing Ordinance 01-2022, Budget Amendment Number 2, on the motion from Councilman Fuller and the second from Mayor Pro Tem Vigliotti, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, saying nay. Very good. Up for adoption this evening, we have Resolution 2022-02. This is our monthly water allocation for the month of February of 2022. I'll entertain a motion to approve if you desire.
So moved.
And may I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion on the water allocation? All right, hearing none. On the motion to approve by Councilman Hand and the second from Councilman Fuller to approve the water allocation for February, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed may say nay. We are unanimous. With that, we'll move right along to our city manager report. Do you have any updates, Mr. Wieprecht?
Just a couple real quick ones. We talked a little bit about the idea of getting a cost estimate for a new public works facility. And in talking with Public Works Department, they're probably looking more for like a pole building type structure with an office attached. And from what we're finding out so far, a lot of those are more design build process. So we are going to work with a couple pole building manufacturers to get some numbers there and just incorporate that into our capital improvement program. So we should be getting some numbers pretty quickly, but we're not going to solicit any, we're not going to go to an architect to do that because we're looking more at the design build type thing.
And we do have a resource at the county that you're aware of that we could also use to
Yes,
get an estimate
yes.
for that as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And this might be jumping ahead a little bit, but we talked about possibly reposting the street sweeping prohibition or the no parking signs
Yes.
for street sweeping. And added to Powered EMS to your packets were what Public Works suggests we do if we do move forward with putting the signs back up and restricting parking on the state roads throughout the city instead of just the metered area. And basically, we would put the signs back up later this month, post notice on social media outlets and the website about the change to the parking enforcement, hand out flyers to folks on the state roads, East and West Baltimore, York and Frederick Street, and work with the police to do warnings instead of citations throughout the month of February. We'll also include this in the Public Works segment of the Taneytown Record for each issue of the Taneytown Record between now and July. March through May, continue with posting notices on social media outlets and the website. And again, continue on with giving warnings on street sweeping day. Same thing again in June, and pretty much the same, rinse, lather, repeat. But in June, possibly hand out another flyer to the households along those streets, just to remind them that the next month it's for real. And then in July, we could also post reminders, and before street sweeping day, the Friday before street sweeping, we could go around, we could post more reminders on social media. So, and then we thought that just posting reminders on social media on a monthly basis, the Friday before street sweeping might be helpful as well. So that would be the plan to kind of reinstitute that no parking on street sweeping day.
Okay, so my understanding is then we'll be issuing warnings to those vehicles until July?
Until the beginning, yep, until July.
Okay,
So the actual enforcement would be concurrent with the new contract.
okay. Any questions on that from the council? Do we find that satisfactory? Okay,
Alrighty. Thank you.
appreciate that being presented. Is there anything else, Mr. Wieprecht?
Not at this point, thank you.
All right. Are there any questions for the city manager on his report or the departmental reports this evening? All right. Hearing none. Mr. Gullo is not with us this evening, so we will skip over the legal report. Moving into our new business. First, we have up for approval the monthly financial report as presented to you, and I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved?
And a second, please.
Second.
All right. Any questions on the monthly financial report as presented? All right, on the motion to approve from Mayor Pro Tem Vigliotti and a second from Councilman Hand, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. All right, moving on to our accounts payables, and I will look for the same. A motion to approve, please.
So moved.
And a second, please.
Second.
All right, any comments or questions on the accounts payables? All right, on the motion to approve the accounts payables from Councilman Fuller with a second from Councilman Foster, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Very good. Come down to the first of a few awards of bids this evening. Scrolling. All right, first, the award of bid for cleaning services. Recommendation from the staff is that we authorize the award of a 3-year contract to Multicorp Incorporated in the amount of $17,185. I'll entertain a motion, and please specify your motion.
Motion to approve the recommendation of the 3-year contract with the possibility of 2 one-year extensions to Multicorp Incorporated for $17,185.
Very good. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Any questions, concerns, general inquiries? All right, on the motion to approve the award of the bid to Multicorp Incorporated in the amount of $17,185 from Mayor Pro Tem Vigliotti, second from Councilman Haines. All in favor of approving signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed may say nay. Very good. Moving on, we have the award of the bid for tennis courts and basketball court at Memorial Park. The recommendation from staff is to award the contract to Mid-Atlantic Asphalt in the amount of $84,870. If anyone sees it that way, please Make a motion and specify.
I move we go with Mid-Atlantic Asphalt for the total amount of $84,870 for the tennis courts and basketball.
Very good. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
All right. Any questions? I can't imagine with all the detail that was provided to you on this one. Lorena is thorough.
Yes.
Very appreciated. All right. With no questions, on the motion to approve the awarding of the bid to Mid-Atlantic Asphalt in the amount of $84,870 from Councilman Hand, with a second from Councilwoman Fuller. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed may say nay. Very good. Our next awarding of bid is for street sweeping. And as previously discussed, we will take the next agenda item, number 6, off, as we've already discussed that. Back to the street sweeping, though. Recommendation from staff is to award the contract to Riley Sweeping in the amount of monthly sweeping $198 yearly per mile, yearly sweeping of $175 per mile. And if you wish, you may make a motion and specify the name of the bidder. You don't have to go into the amounts.
Motion to approve the recommendation for Riley Sweeping.
Very good. May I have a second, please?
Second.
All right. Any questions? All right. With that, on the motion to approve awarding the bid for street sweeping to Riley Sweeping from Mayor Pro Tem Vigliotti, and the second from Councilwoman Foster, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed may say nay. Very good. Right, we'll remove street sweeping signage off the agenda now. It's been discussed. Award of bid for solid waste and recycling services. The recommendation from staff is to authorize the 5-year contract to Ecology Services. I will ask for a motion, and please specify your motion.
Motion to approve the 5-year contract be awarded to Ecology Services.
Very good. Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Very good. We do have the motion to approve the awarding to Ecology Services from Councilwoman Foster with a second from Councilman Hand, and I'll open the floor for discussion.
So I know we had some discussion last week about some issues that have been raised among residents and other issues we've experienced recently with them. And I know, Mayor, you'd mentioned the possibility of sitting down with them to say, hey, that, you know, we need to improve the reliability of the service that you're offering. Is it possible that we could award the bid on the idea or as the contingent factor awarding the bid to them based on the fact that they would sit down with the mayor and the city manager and say, yes, we're going to address the issues that you've raised? Or is it that we simply have to award the bid and then go directly into the meeting with them?
Well, I believe the expectation is that the meeting is going to happen. I believe they're willing to sit down and have that meeting. I would not expect them to say other than we're going to do our best. I mean, it's in the place of good business, I would expect that response. I don't know, personally, I'll leave it up to the council to decide that. I don't know that making it contingent on the outcome of that meeting would be of much benefit or substance to this conversation. I believe if we're comfortable with the price presented and the fact that they have remedied a lot of the issues as they come up, and when it does repeat, it's a matter of a staffing issue, which I think we can see throughout many industries right now. We did discuss other possibilities Wednesday evening, some of which I'm not supportive of. The idea of rebidding, I don't think we should entertain just because of the risk of this bidder choosing not to, and then we get stuck with 3 bidders who are extremely high. and we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot. I mean, my opinion on that. Go ahead and continue the discussion.
Well, let me ask it from this perspective too. Let's say that we do award the contract to them, we do have the meeting with them, they agree to, address certain issues, and then they don't address them. I mean, is there a timeline or a time frame in which we can change up who we are using?
There is a penalty provision that we have not used thus far. I believe it's $25 per incident. Is that correct, Mr. Wieprecht?
I believe so. I do not have it right in front of me, though.
Right. I believe that's it. Mr. Smeek and I discussed this.
Okay.
He agrees that we need to be a little more proactive on issuing those penalties as we see fit, just to ensure that there's a little more hammer to go along with these issues. Public Works is now working with IT. They're putting together a complaint tracking system that they're going to use for not just waste removal, but other issues. They'll be able to track those more efficiently, essentially be able to close the cases and keep track of what are common areas and what are common problems that we see. So I think that's going to go a long way in giving us some support to see better service than what we've seen so far.
Okay, so between the meeting, between the possibility of the penalties, and between the system that's being developed, I will say that I am now comfortable with going with this bidder again.
I think we have a good plan together at this point, and we've kind of learned from some of these, and we're moving forward on a better path. Any other discussion?
Jim, I know you said you didn't have it in front of me, you weren't sure. The $25 per incident, is that per incident like in this place, that place, and the other place, or just one $25?
I believe it can be issued per incident. So if we have
So,
multiples at a time,
yeah.
Right,
So
if we
if you
get
have
complaints from
multiple
6 different
areas
streets,
right,
that I believe will be
complaining,
6 incidents.
it's $25 per. Okay,
that's correct, yes.
thank you.
Mr. Mayor, was 5 years the minimum length for this contract that they're willing to do?
That is the customary length of that contract.
Okay.
There is,
And I guess my follow-up question would be, is there room to amend the contract after it's been awarded?
we'd have to look at the contract more closely. I don't know.
Generally, if both parties agree, it can be amended, but both parties have to be in agreement on it.
Correct.
Could we have some sort of probationary period as we instill this, like a sort of an unspoken one, I guess, where after a year, if we don't see the expectations we've set being met, maybe instead of outright terminating the contract, amending its length? Is that possible? I just feel like 5 years is a bit of a steep commitment for a
Do you mean
company we've had.
like an informal consensus among us, and we'll keep our eye on it? And
Yeah,
Well, the challenging part of that is that we put it out for bid under certain terms.
right.
And to modify those terms, I think, would be a little disingenuous.
That's
on
a
behalf
poor
of the city.
precedent. Yeah, I get that.
I think we know that it's something that we want to have watched. We know that the Director of Public Works will be watching it closely and being able to track it. He is the one who hears the complaints,
Okay.
and he knows that we're going to support decisions that he makes within reason. If he decides that he wants to go a different direction, then we can have that conversation at the time with the company and determine if we want to move forward in another path. I think what we should do is try to give the plan in place a try
Okay.
and see if having the list of complaints and such can help them better serve us, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't want to put too many marbles in the playing field right now. I think we have a good plan, and we'll see how that works. And if after a year we decide it's not, maybe we need to modify that plan at the time. Does that sound acceptable?
Mm-hmm.
Any other comments, concerns? Very good. On the motion from Councilwoman Foster to approve the award of the bid to Ecology Services in the amount of, the base service cost, $1,541,729.28. The second from Councilman Hand. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed may say nay. Very good. Our final award of bid for the evening is our biosolids hauling and disposal. The recommendation from staff is to award the 5-year contract to Synagro Central with their cost per ton of $49.10 per ton for land application or $190 per ton for landfill disposal. I'll entertain a motion, and please specify.
I'll make the motion to award the contract to Synagro Central.
Very good. Do I have a second, please?
Second?
All right, any discussion? All right, with that, on the motion to award the contract to Synagro Central from Councilman Fuller with a second from Mayor Pro Tem Vigliotti. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Very good. Our final action of new business this evening, I should have mentioned previously, we are removing item 10 from new business. The city manager has some other things he wants to go over before that comes before myself and the council. We'll give him a chance to speak to that after number 9. Number 9 is a topic that was brought up to you Wednesday evening from our city attorney. This is on the PFA class action lawsuit that's going nationwide regarding permanent chemicals that do not break down, being found in water systems as a result of certain products, for example, I think fire extinguishing foams and of that like. His recommendation to the city, therefore to the council, is that we agree to join in the class action suit. As a result, he will act on our behalf with the national law firms to get the most benefit to the city in case we have mitigation efforts we have to take. So with that, I will entertain a motion, and please specify your motion.
I move to enter into the PFA class action suit and employ Attorney Gullo for our legal services concerning such.
Perfect. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Is there any discussion? Okay. All in favor of approving the entrance into the PFA class action suit and authorizing the city attorney to act on our behalf on the motion from Councilwoman Foster, second from Councilman Hand, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Excellent. Lastly, just for this one, Mr. Wieprecht, do you want to provide any information on the Meads Crossing?
Just real quick, yep. And in reviewing the original bond and the previous reductions for Meads Crossing, I noted that there did not seem to be a clear expiration date or renewal date on the bond. So I bounced it over to the city attorney, and he suggested that we look at an extension of time rather than jumping in for the reduction prior to renewal. So he offered to work through with the developer on that. So, and of course, that'll be on the developer's dime because it is part of their public works agreement. So the ball's in the city attorney's court right now. But we'll have more on that hopefully for next month. But we will be seeing a reduction request for sure because a great deal of the infrastructure is completed out there, but not the rush that we thought it was.
Excellent. Okay. Any questions on that topic from the council? All right. With that, we'll move into our council member reports. We'll begin this evening with Councilman Hand.
All right. We had a couple of meetings in January because of the holidays, late December and then New Year's. So in early January, we had provided a favorable recommendation to BZA for a semi-detached dwelling on Ridge Avenue. We learned at our last meeting that BZA declined to endorse that because of matching with the surroundings. It was merging 4 small lots into a larger one, and the aesthetics were not with the neighborhood. And then we previewed another case for a home daycare, and we had a favorable for that as well. And that was pretty much January.
Excellent. Councilwoman Fuller.
All right. I'll start with the most important thing. We're getting new porta pots at the parks. Finally replacing the ones that are down there. That should be in by the end of this month, hopefully. Excuse me. Preliminary plans for Bollinger Park have been submitted to the county for review. We're hoping to have approval by early spring so that the work can begin this summer. We're having new acrylic surfacing to the tennis courts and the basketball courts, and they're going to add pickleball to at least one of the tennis courts. So we're looking for that. And then we have news of a preliminary Community Parks and Playground Grant in the amount of $136,464 for a skate park rehab project. Finally, that will make a lot of people happy. This is going to include new asphalt, a new concrete plaza in the center of the skate park with concrete features, and a pump track for BMX bike use outside of the fenced area. So that'll separate the skateboarders and the bikers a little bit more. Excuse me, and the official grant award should be in by May. So, yay, team.
Very good. Mayor Pro Tem Vigliotti.
I have the police departmental report for January 2022. On the training and education side of things, the in-service training and continuing education for all patrol officers included hate crimes training for law enforcement, human trafficking, understanding autism spectrum disorder, and crime victims' rights and services. With respect to specialized training, Corporal Schaefer took the U.S. DOT Transportation Safety Institute Bicycle Safety for law enforcement. Senior Patrol Officer Sakadalis took American Red Cross CPR AED First Aid Instructor. Updates. Corporal Schultz, excuse me. Officer Schultz, Romero, and Myers engaged in mental health first aid for law enforcement and received certification in that. That was provided by the Carroll County Health Department. And Police Administrative Assistant Haley Engels engaged in anti-bias training for law enforcement, generational differences, and dispatch communications. In January 2022, the total number of dispatched or generated calls for service were 265. The total number of citations issued were 46. The total number of warnings issued were 40. The total number of adult arrests were 15, and the total number of juvenile arrests were 0. And that's it for me this evening.
All right, very good. Councilwoman Foster, do you have anything for us this evening?
A few things. I am a member of the Family Selection Committee for Habitat for Humanity, and the Taneytown build is moving along, but we don't have many applicants. So we are trying to push the information out there. There will be an informational meeting at the Taneytown Library on March 5th and in Westminster on February 26th. Those are both Saturdays. The meetings will be from 10 until 12 to disseminate this information. There will be officials there from Habitat to explain and help with applications if necessary. So to the listening public and council, please inform people that you know these applications are due by March 25th. And hopefully we get more. I think we only have one.
If you see it on Facebook, I'm sure they're going to put it on there. Make sure you share it on your pages.
Yes, absolutely.
Let people know it's where everyone is and get some applications in there.
The Outreach and Engagement Committee of MML, of which I'm a member, is doing a spotlight on Maryland video. And I'm proud to say that Taneytown got in there. So they will be featuring us along with 21 other municipalities. And we get to be a part of a video that says how wonderful Taneytown is. So they have a professional videographer.
Videographer. That's the,
Easy for you to say.
Video, what he said.
video people.
Yes, coming out to do this, so I'm real excited about that we get to be a part of it. We almost missed it, but, I got us in there. And things are kind of slow at Silver Oak Academy, but I'm hoping that changes over the next several months.
Excellent. Very good. Councilman Haines, do you have anything for us this evening?
I just have one thing under training and development. So the International Economic Development Council is a nonprofit, nonpartisan membership organization that just supports economic developers across the state. And our Jay Mishi was appointed to its advisory committee. So he's going to help, sort of organize all of their policy work and make all of that a little more edible for everybody involved. So congratulations to him. Happy to hear that. I think that's a great opportunity for him and vicariously for us. So that's all I got.
Excellent. I only have a couple things. The MML Legislative Committee has been meeting every Wednesday. There have been an unbelievable amount of bills brought into the state. I think it was in the thousands as of last Wednesday that had been brought forward from delegates and senators. Just staggering. And they run the gamut. I mean, just some you want to roll your eyes at, others you kind of get where they're going, just not where they ended up. There are several that I think are very municipal friendly, which is great. One of them that I've kind of complained about for a couple of years is regarding the constant yield. And there's a proposal in the Senate, I believe, to essentially change the required public notice to not say that we are increasing taxes, but to put the truth about the change in assessments is resulting in a possible change in taxes from people. So it's just one of those things where it makes it a little more clear of where the lack of a better word, blame lies with that. Constant yield's a little too much to get into right now, but that's one of the more friendly bills that I've seen come up that got some support. The tricky part about this sort of a session, when you have so many bills, there are a lot that members on the committee get very passionate about, and they have to realize that MML staff has to spend a lot of time supporting or opposing bills. And so when you start approving 30 bills for them to approve, that's a lot of time, especially every Wednesday when it goes through. But our next meeting is this Wednesday. We'll get some updates. There are some things coming up, and hopefully soon. I know hearings have kind of started on some of the more important ones, and I'll be able to report back on some of those. Coming up in the city, February 23rd is our budget workshop. Hopefully everyone is as excited as I am about this. I do have the first draft of the budget in my email. I hope to review it tonight when I get home. My understanding is that it's extremely positive this year. The other thing for members of council, you should be hearing from the city clerk very shortly about our next chapter meeting for MML. It is on March 17th in Manchester, Thursday evening. It will be held at the Manchester Activities Building, or?
I think the fire company activity building.
Correct, yep. So you should be getting the invitation from that. Hopefully you're able to join us for it. And I believe that's all I have to share with you this evening. Anything else for the good of the order?
Mr. Mayor, I did find the draft contract for solid waste.
I'll take
we
it.
were chatting. So the quality control standards do talk about there being a $25 per container / occurrence.
Okay,
So it does look like it's very specific as to what we could count as an incident. And also the agreement is maybe amended by written agreement signed by both parties.
Very good.
Just to clarify those couple things.
And hopefully it doesn't come to that. Makes me think of the commercial where they say, let's not talk about leaving the game before it's even started.
Before we get
That's exactly right. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second, please?
second.
All in favor of going home signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you all. Enjoy the evening.